As you all well know, our beloved team, the Chicago Bears, are making the historic move to Arlington Heights, and while many experts are predicting that this will cause home prices to skyrocket, as a real estate insider, I'm here to tell you that the truth is quite different. In fact, data reveals that the move will have a surprising impact on the local real estate market, and it's not what you think. The cost of the relocation of the Chicago Bears to Arlington Heights is complex, and there's no definitive answer. The estimated construction cost alone is expected to exceed $3 billion, including the cost of building a new stadium that meets modern NFL standards. On top of this, several additional financial costs could be associated with the move. For starters, increasing city and taxes for those in Arlington Heights, Chicago, and Illinois may be necessary to support such an endeavor. But the Bears are also leaving Chicago without paying their tab. The city of Chicago is still on the hook for $640 million for the renovations of Soldier Field in the early 2000s, which was not only a financial disaster, but an aesthetic disaster as well. While the breakup between Chicago and the Bears is all but official, the city of Arlington Heights continues to seduce the Bears with their willingness to agree with all of the Bears' requests. Arlington Heights has agreed to rezone the redevelopment and contribute over $200 million in infrastructure for the Bears' mixed-use development. The project will cost the city of Chicago, Arlington Heights, and the state. The state is currently considering a bill offering incentives called pilots to enhance commuter transit around the new stadium. The Arlington Park deal aims to create the most costly property redevelopment in Illinois history to attract events such as the Super Bowl, national events, and concerts. So who will pay for what? The Bears already purchased the land for just under $200 million. The NFL is also going to contribute at least a few hundred million. Although the Bears will not ask for any taxpayer dollars for the stadium, they are requesting investment from the Arlington Heights community to build all of the infrastructure for the redevelopment. The truth is, if you currently live in Illinois, some small percentage of your tax will eventually go to the construction of this stadium. The Bears are also seeking a pilot payment in lieu of taxes from the state worth at least hundreds of millions of dollars in tax incentives over the course of many years, and this means that taxpayers foot the bill for the infrastructure improvements and other costs associated with the Bears' transit-oriented development. For Illinois residents, moving the Chicago Bears to Arlington Heights could have a profound impact. In addition to the potential changes in taxes and transportation costs, there are many overall cultural shifts. As fans flock to the game in Arlington Heights, local businesses could see an increase of revenue from increased foot traffic and more money spent on goods and services. Hosting an event as significant as the Super Bowl in the Chicagoland area would be very exciting. But if we're spending billions of dollars for only a few events a year and 1 to 2 Super Bowls in the lifetime of the stadium, we have to really consider if it's really worth it. On the other hand, Chicago residents may feel a sense of loss from their beloved team no longer playing in the city. In addition, some argue that Arlington Heights might not have the infrastructure to support such an influx of Bears fans. Residents from both cities should consider all of these factors when making a decision. Whether you like it or not everyone will contribute equally to the cost of the move, and we should find a way for it not only to benefit the Bears, but the city of Chicago and the residents of Arlington Heights as well. Arlington Heights is ideally located and could also benefit from the ideal location of the redevelopment. If done correctly, the stadium could draw visitors close to O'Hare Airport, one of the busiest airports in the nation. The move of the Chicago Bears to Arlington Heights will affect local communities and businesses, as both cities are undoubtedly intertwined. For the residents of Arlington Heights, it's giving up what old Arlington Heights was and welcoming in the new. Multiple studies have shown that redevelopments like this hardly ever pay off for the city, contributing and enabling the redevelopment. If planned correctly, the redevelopment could bring in new visitors worldwide and bring Arlington Heights to the front stage. If you want to see studies on stadium redevelopments, make sure you comment below. Arlington Heights already has so many positives going for it, and a redevelopment that complements the city of Arlington Heights will not only add to its charm and energy. This move also means a new wave of economic development for Chicago as well. The addition of a stadium on the city's outskirts could attract more visitors from all over the world who would be eager to explore Chicago's other offerings. And this could potentially mean an influx of local revenue from businesses and an increase of jobs and housing. Overall, the Chicago Bears move to Arlington Heights is sure to have advantages and disadvantages, but it's really up to us to make sure that the positives outweigh the negatives. Everyone has an opinion, but the facts don't lie. Take, for example, this recent article from The Real Deal that states that a recent analysis of house prices in the northwest suburbs found that even the idea of the NFL team moving to the area has been driving median sale prices up to 14% since the announcement of the Bears move to Arlington Heights. The truth is, Arlington Heights home prices didn't see an increase of 14%. In fact, Arlington Heights has had an increase of 4.1% in the last year. Compared to other comparable areas, it has been outperformed by both Buffalo Grove, that shares the same general location from the city, and a very similar price range. To add to the fire, Arlington hasn't even kept up with the township it's located in, which has seen an increase of 3.8% compared to Wheeling Township of 4.8%. It's clear that Arlington Heights isn't benefiting from the Chicago Bears move just yet as much as it could. And let's be serious, why would a dramatic increase in traffic, higher taxes, and a higher potential for crime be driving up home prices? It really won't. Now, this doesn't mean we won't see demand for Arlington Heights, but the numbers just don't support that yet. I want to visit the stadium and the entertainment district, but I wouldn't want to deal with the traffic and the congestion from every event. We must come together to ensure that this move benefits both parties, not just the team itself. It's important for all of us to remember that both cities stand to gain. Although the city of Arlington Heights stands a poor chance of benefiting from the Bears move, this could be a great opportunity for the state of Illinois, the city of Chicago, and Arlington Heights to invest towards becoming the city of the future. If Chicago and Arlington Heights can create a plan that will benefit both cities, the move could be a win-win situation for everyone, or at least a lose-less situation. For example, the city of Illinois and the city of Chicago could invest in projects which could improve jobs and promote economic growth. And this will ensure that Arlington Heights will remain affordable for everyone that wants to live there. The state of Illinois should invest in transportation to and from the stadium, tying the city of Chicago, O'Hare Airport, and the new stadium. For the residents of Arlington Heights, the biggest change will be the congestion. The new stadium will likely host over 65,000 people at every event. Now imagine that traffic. Neighboring communities are also concerned about the drive-through traffic from the cars trying to avoid the congestion. To alleviate this, Chicago and Arlington Heights could invest in public transportation to make it easier for people to get to and from the stadium without driving. People will use public transportation if we make it easier, more cost-effective, and safe. If more people use public transportation, the less congestion Arlington Heights will have. Not to mention, it would also be the most energy efficient and avoid large empty parking lots for the over 300 days the stadium won't be in use a year. If the transit-oriented development at Arlington Park is successful, it must draw in residents and visitors throughout the year, meaning it must appeal to everyone. In the recent plan, the Chicago Bears proposed a plan for Arlington Heights that displayed a mixed-use development with a density of a modern transit area. There is currently high demand for multi-level residential properties. If you only place single-family properties, for example, in the transit-oriented development, it will not only be a poor use of space, but would also likely only attract millionaire investors. To appeal to a much larger demographic, it is important to have various housing options available. It is also important to avoid creating something that looks generic and instead focus on designing buildings that are timeless and architecture that doesn't strongly associate completely with a specific team like the Bears, but is more of a community. By the way, I've been thinking about what this community might be called, and here are a few names that I came up with. One is Hallis Hall, Bearsville, Arlington Fields, Orange and Navy District, and Monster District. Let me know what you think and what it should be called in the comment section below. To create an experience, urban planning and architecture should be at the forefront. The development should be beautiful and enticing for visitors to want to come back. We must ensure that the new village is accessible and easily navigable for everyone. That way, locals and tourists alike can enjoy one of the most iconic football teams in the country from a city where they feel welcomed and at home. For the city of Chicago, a great area to focus on would be the public transportation, specifically the CTA and trade systems to aid in getting to and from the stadium. And there have been many studies that have shown that an increased amount of public transportation has a direct correlation with economic growth for both small and large cities. In a proposal in 2003, the CTA suggested an extension of the Blue Line past O'Hare into the western suburbs, linking Mount Prospect, Arlington Heights, and Schaumburg. Schaumburg is also a suburb that would greatly benefit from this extension, given even more options for daily commuters and visitors to Arlington Heights. And here's a fun fact: Schaumburg was also considered for the location of the new stadium before finding their location in Arlington Park. In fact, Schaumburg has already selected an area for their Blue Line extension development. If this transportation link happens, it will link Chicago, O'Hare, Arlington Heights, and the largest mall in Chicagoland together. Tourists would have easy, convenient connection to the Bears game without driving through the city. For Arlington Heights, the best investment would be infrastructure, specifically updating its roads and curbsides. Arlington should fight for more public transportation and less parking. Clearly, there are many factors to consider when discussing the cost of the Bears moving to Arlington Heights. Though at first glance it may seem like a pricey move, there are potential for both parties involved to reap major benefits from this transition. We need to focus on urban planning, public transportation links, infrastructure updates, and noise ordinances so that everyone can enjoy all that Arlington has to offer without being disturbed by neighboring areas. If you have any ideas or suggestions about what we can do to make this happen, please leave them in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys next time.